Sunny greetings from the Nürburgring. Only 3 more race weekends to go, so we are psyched. It's all about the championship battle. And before we have a look at the first race here at the Nürburgring, let's have a look at the championship standings.
It's crunch time. The Nürburgring is the venue for the 6th of 8 DTM race weekends. The sprint version of the historic Eiffel circuit promises excitement and 2 spectacular races.
The red lights turn green and we go racing here at the Nürburgring. Side by side on the track, this is what it looks like.
Maro Engel heads to the Eiffel as the overall leader. After finishing 3rd in each of the last 2 seasons, the Mercedes driver aims to further solidify his title chances.
I always love to race at the Nürburgring. Obviously it's a special circuit. It lives and breathes motorsport in Germany, and also for me personally, I've had many great successes here.
Engel has received an extra boost following the retrospective disqualification of Mirko Bortolotti from last weekend's race at Oschersleben. The team that fielded the winning Lamborghini in race 2 is accused of using a non-homologated wheel bearing. As a result, Maro Engel has provisionally been awarded the race victory and currently tops the standings with 150 points.
For us, the focus is always on any given day to try to extract the maximum from the car. Obviously, it's great that we're leading and we're happy to be in that position, but we're focused and it's still a long way away. Our aim is to come to Hockenheim, fighting for the championship hopefully, and with the best possible chance of clinching it.
Second in the standings and thus the closest challenger is Denmark's Nicky Tim. After a disappointing weekend in Oschersleben, the Viking is looking to go on the offensive again.
Obviously it's annoying that it takes 2 weekends for them to realize that they just turned us down so much. But yeah, now it looks that we're on the same level. I think every brand is on inside 3/10, which is absolutely crazy.
The chasing pack is extremely tight, with 125, 124 and 121 points. Lucas Auer in the blue Adidas AMG and Thomas Preining in the Grello Porsche also have high hopes for the race in the Eiffel and want to keep the DTM Championship battle exciting.
We're psyched to be here, and a man who's very psyched as well is right next to me, Matteo Cairoli. You've got your 2nd pole position this season. It is so tight in the DTM, so how excited are you to be in pole position?
Definitely a lot, especially after having been struggled in the past 2 events. So it was really needed to be finally achieve another good result. I personally wouldn't expect to be on pole today, honestly. Maybe in the top 5, yes, but not 100% on pole, considering what we saw yesterday with the 2 Porsches. No, it was a good quali. I managed to put everything together in the last lap, despite the expectation were a bit different in the sense that we thought that the tires would have given their best a bit earlier. But yeah, in the end, I mean, I'm happy that I was able to close the lap, not making any mistake, and eventually secure a pole position.
Hot, sunny weather, extremely high track temperatures await the drivers and, of course, the Pirelli tyres. For this first race of the weekend here at the Nürburgring, Matteo Cairoli, the Italian in the Emil Frey Racing Ferrari, with his 2nd pole position of the season. Alongside him will be Thomas Preining, up to 4th place in the championship now after back-to-back podiums, last time out at Oschersleben. Starting 6th on the grid with 20 kilograms of success ballast will be championship leader Maro Engel, now a 2-time winner this season.
So, you're the leader of the championship. We're so super excited because in the last race, Oschersleben, you were P2, but then because Mirko Bortolotti was disqualified, you were the winner and now extended your lead. So everything's going really well for you at this point in the championship. Starting from this position, how tough will it be for you?
Yeah, looking forward to the race. I mean, look at the grandstands, they're full, there's a great atmosphere, always amazing support from me here at the Nürburgring, so looking forward to the race and what we can do. Of course, the 20 kilos will be tough, but it's part of the regs, and yeah, now we look forward to the race.
The crowd then gathered for round 11 of DTM 2026. This is how they line up in reverse order. Arjun Maini with no real laps in qualifying, starting 21st. His teammate Finn Wiebelhaus likewise. Nicola Bart starts 19th on the grid. And it's Timo Glock 18th, Bastian Boos in 17th. On row 8, Marco Mappelli and Christian Engelhardt in a pair of Lamborghini Temerarios. Thierry Vermeulen starts 14th, Mirko Bortolotti 13th. Then into the top 12, Luca Engstler and Nicky Tim, who's 2nd in the championship. Championship. Kelvin van der Linde starting 10th, Tom Callender in 9th. On row 4, Ricardo Feller is 8th, Jules Gounon is 7th, and then it's the championship leader Maro Engel 6th, Ben Durr starting 5th. Onto the second row, Marco Wittmann starting 4th and Lucas Auer 3rd, with Thomas Preining and Matteo Caroli as your front row for race 1 of the weekend. So the scene is set. We've had 6 different winners, 14 different drivers on the podium so far. Can we follow the excitement of last season when this man, Ayhan Nguyen, won the championship in spectacular style right at the end of the season with just a few corners to go?
Yeah, I think I missed this the qualifying, going out, trying to find track position. And yeah, I just watched the quali now, so this is why I feel like this probably going to the race. I will also miss this great feeling, the tense, like the adrenaline in your body before the lights go green. Now we can speak about some championship fights. The guys in the front. There is, I think, 4 guys now in their head. So yeah, now every point's really important. It will count until Hockenheim final, and I think this top 4 guy will try to make sure they're in the good spot for the Hockenheim.
So a reminder of how the championship stands. Maro Engel with a 25-point lead over Nicky Tim. Lucas Auer is also on 125 points and he's 3rd, and Thomas Preining in 4th place in the championship. So not taking part in this year's championship. Ayhan Nguyen watching on from the Manthey garage. Can his ex-teammate Thomas Preining get the jump on Matteo Caroli? Chris Hartley here to talk you through race 1 at the DTM. The Nürburgring is about to burst into action. The roar of these DTM machines as they charge over the line. The lights go out and we are away, and it's a terrific start for Matteo Caroli in the Ferrari, but behind Lucas Auer in the blue Mercedes has made a great start as well, trying to go around the outside of Thomas Preining at turn 1. He goes a bit deep into the corner though. Ben Durr gets up the inside of him. Left-hander coming up. He's got alongside him Marco Wittmann in the BMW, who squeezes around the outside as well. So that did not work for Lucas Auer. He's going to tuck back in to 5th place. It's going to be Caroli that leads as they go through the AMG Arena for the first time in the race. Further back, jostling for position in that green Aston Martin is Nicky Tim. The 2 Ford Mustangs, by the way, didn't really take part in qualifying. They have both got to serve drive-through penalties for a testing infringement for the team, and it might mean that they're going to save the day for Sunday, where they can use up all their tyres. Wide and onto the grass there was going Nicky Tim. Was there a bit of contact that sent the Dane in that Aston Martin a little bit wide, lost the traction. Extremely dry weather means extremely dusty grass when you go off circuit, and it's very dusty for Mirko Bortolotti as he takes a big old trip through the gravel trap there. The 2023 champion, it's going to cost him a place. Bastien Buus in the Porsche for Land Motorsport will dive through into the Vidal chicane for the first time. It's Caroli from Preining. Ben Durr with a great start, up from 5th to 3rd place, and then it's Marco Wittmann in 4th. 5th place, then we've got Lucas Auer, made a really good start off the line, but just lost out on that run through turn 1 and into turn 2. Engel is 6th, Gounon is 7th, and a pair of Mercedes for Winward, and then it's van der Linde, Feller and Callender rounding out the top 10. Here then come the 2 Ford Mustangs, the team, not these drivers, not these cars, but the team with one of their GT Masters cars, and Frank Stippler did some testing here at the Nürburgring to check out the brakes on one of their cars just for a couple of laps, but they didn't sanction it, an admin error, and as a result, drive-through penalties. And that was a drive-through penalty of a different kind for Mirko Bortolotti all the way through the gravel trap. Let's have a look at it on board with Bastien Buus, and yet just out wide goes the Lamborghini Temporario, that new car for the year. Bortolotti, of course, was on top at the Oschersleben race last time out.
Yeah, just park the car when you come back in on the right-hand side immediately on pit entry.
That is a retirement. Then off the road has gone Marco Mappelli. So drama for 2 Lamborghini Temporarios. What's happened here? A replay will show he was battling away with Timo Glock, and Timo Glock catching the back left corner on the way into turn 2 and tipping into a spin, the Italian, in his first season of the championship. Both Mappelli and Bortolotti have won races on the track this year in that Lamborghini Temporario, and both have had those races taken away from them, one with a penalty and one with a disqualification. Oh, way off the road goes Nicky Tim with that battle that he's been having for a couple of laps now with Tom Callender, and confirmation that Timo Glock is going to get to run through the penalty box 3 times for the contact he had with Mappelli. Here's a replay on board with Nicky Tim, trying to go up the inside, and he lost patience with Tom Callender, who's been holding him up for a while. from a long way back. Nicky Tim set one at the inside of the way to the Vidal chicane. Contact between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes. They both tucked to the grass, but survived. But that was a fair old hit. Nicky Tim with a lunge there, the Danish driver, with a car that is not super quick this weekend. That's under investigation. Into the pits, I'm afraid, with damage, I suspect, from that incident is Tom Callender, and it looks like his race has come to an end as well. And Timo Glock is also going to park his McLaren.
Copy that, then box for retirement, box to retire the car.
Well, it's hard on tyres with these hot conditions here. There's only 3 sets of slick tyres that you get to last a weekend. And if you're not going to get a good score on Saturday, lots of teams, I reckon, are opting to retire the car, save their tyres for race 2, which could be a huge advantage on Sunday. Right, the pit stop window is open, and in they pile Marco Wittmann and Lucas Auer from inside the top 5. Jules Gounon, still looking for his first podium of the year, for his first win in DTM, comes in the yellow Mamba Mercedes as well. They come in, they have to change tyres. All 4 tyres must be changed, rears first, then front. 6 work on the pit stop. 1 the Laxman on the air gun, which raises the car on the air jacks off the floor. 1 on the lollipop, and then 2 pairs working on the tyre changes. Winwood, the team's champions last year in terms of the pit stop challenge. The good-looking stop for Jules Gounon. Right, in comes Ben Durr. Change the rears, and then work as a pair. A little bit sticky on that right rear. They're done on the left side of the car, a bit slow on the right side. And the transponder hasn't worked, so we're not getting a time for that pit stop. Ideally, you want to be sub 7 seconds. A really, really good pit stop is sub 6.5, and an amazing one, which we've had a few times this year, is sub 6 seconds. But that, I reckon, has cost a couple of seconds, and he's in a really tight fight for 3rd place with Marco Wittmann. So could that put him on the back foot in the battle for the final spot on the podium? Matteo Cairoli with an advantage of 2.6 seconds over Thomas Preining, who now comes into the pits to make his stop. Manthey are also excellent at their pit stops normally, one of the best in the business. Local team, just a stone's throw, Manthey, from the Nürburgring circuit is their base, but they haven't actually ever won a race in the DTM at this track. It's the only track where they haven't won a race. Thomas Preining will be lucky to put that right. He is carrying 10 kilograms of success ballast though, after the back of his 2nd place finish, as it became at Oschersleben, 3rd on the road, but promoted to 2nd behind Maro Engel when Bortolotti was disqualified. Right, all slick for the team at Manthey, and that looked good for Thomas Preining, so he's away. And this is what it looks like on board with Eric Lingerman as he works the wheel gun on the Maro Engel car, and away he goes. So Preining is going to come out plenty clear of Marco Wittmann, but it'll take a lap to get his tyres up to temperature. Likewise, Maro Engel is going to come somewhere in this mix, but he'll struggle for grip now. He'll turn in, the car will just go straight on, and Wittmann, with his tyres already up to temperature, will get through. Look, he's already ahead of Ben Durr, so Wittmann has got ahead of Ben Durr during that pit stop phase. This potentially for the final spot on the podium into the 2nd half of the race. And Luigi Auer dives up the inside now. He doesn't want to get held up either. So Maro Engel is going to slot back behind all of them. Just is fighting hard on the way through turn 4. But Luigi Auer gets through. So he's not going to quite break into the top 5, Maro Engel, but I would say he could be a little bit closer than he was. He's also very good, Maro Engel, on cold tyres. Right, Emil Frey come in. They've had one of their regular pit crew not able to make it this weekend, so they've had a change of personnel, been doing lots and lots of practice to make sure there's no errors, and 6.2 seconds is a very solid stop for the team that has been one of the best in the pit stop challenge this year, leading the pit stop challenge where the top 3 fastest pit stops all score points. Cairoli, of course, had built up a bit of an advantage, which takes a bit of pressure off the pit crews. They can afford to just take it a little bit easier, not push to the maximum, not make any mistakes. If they lose half a second at the pit stops, it doesn't matter, because Cairoli had built up this big advantage. Look, over Thomas Preining. Thomas will close the gap a little bit now, because his tyres will be up to temperature after pitting earlier. Cairoli will take about a lap to get that Pirelli tyre working well, although the new Pirelli compound this year is a slightly softer tyre exclusively for the DTM. This is a replay of how Marco Wittmann got up the inside of Ben Durr when Ben was out on cold tyres. In fact, he carried it around the outside, the momentum, and then had that dive up the inside midway around the lap. Good move from Marco Wittmann, a bold move, but one that he needed to do with the opportunity. Really good pit stop from Schubert. He gave him a sub-6 second pit stop, 5.9 seconds. That combined with the slightly off-colour pit stop for Ben Durr has resulted in that change for third. Super slow-mo there, Jules Gounon going wide. And look, teeth rattling as they attack the curbs here at the Vidal chicane. You go from 250 kilometres an hour, hard on the brakes, and then ride the curbs left and right towards the end of the lap. It's brutal, but you've got to do it to be quick around the lap. 6.5 minutes to go. Kai Rowley with almost the entire straight length advantage now over Thomas Preining. He's more than 10 seconds clear. The biggest winning margin we've had this year has been 13 seconds, but that was in a race where the weather conditions affected things, and some ended the race on slicks and some ended the race on dry tyres. So for a fully dry race, that's a huge, huge margin for Matteo Cairoli. Preining in second place, Wittmann in third, Durr in fourth, hanging on to him, trying to get that final podium spot back. He's had 2 podiums already this year, and a breakthrough race victory at the Lausitzring, but he hasn't really had too many good results and too many points, Ben Durr, since that victory a few rounds ago. He was struggling in free practice 1 on Friday in the McLaren. He couldn't understand what was wrong. He said the car felt quick, but the times weren't there, although it was incredibly tight. Just under a second separated the majority of the fields in the qualifying session. Ben Durr, though, has got quicker and quicker as the weekend's gone on. By the end of Friday, free practice 2, he was looking more on it, and in qualifying, a good job to be 5th on the grid. Right, this is Bastian Buust diving up the inside of Christian Engelhardt on replay, and he's on the attack here, Bastian Buust. Bit of bodywork traded. Christian Engelhardt stepping in to that TGI Grasser Lamborghini, replacing Max Powell, who got badly injured with that huge crash that we had at the Norris Ring. But he's here this weekend and he's looking really well, and he's pretty positive that he's going to be back before the end of the season. Engelhardt standing in for him now with a new chassis for that Lamborghini Temerario. But Buust is the one on the move here, and he's already got himself now on terms with Thierry Vermeulen. Buust was the last to pit, so he's got the freshest tyres of anybody out there. And the Danish driver, who started the season like an absolute rocket ship, had a couple of top 4 finishes on the track, but one disqualification for a car being underweight slightly, and one penalty for a contact with Ben Durr at Red Bull Ring meant he never kept those top 4 finishes. He's had a struggle in the last couple of rounds. In his first season of the championship, youngest ever Porsche Super Cup champion. He's currently a front runner in the GT World Challenge, driving alongside Ricardo Feller as well. And he's now riding the curves as he goes on the attack here. Thierry Vermeulen struggling a little bit in the Ferrari, goes defensive on the way into the final turn. This is the battle for 11th place. The top 15 all score points. Finish the race. You get in the points here because we've only got 14 left on the track. On board with Bastian Buust then. They get to 250 kilometres an hour here, 6th gear, and then they slam on the brakes, go all the way down through the gears, and then it's just 70 kilometres an hour around this tight right-hander. He's going the outside line. That gets in the inside line for turn 2. Bastian Buust squeezes through with 3 minutes to go to gain another place. His next target now, and it's definitely doable, is to catch that Aston Martin of Nicky Tim in front. And Nicky Tim, coming into the weekend 2nd in the championships, needs all of the points he can get. Lots of balance of performance changes for most of the cars, not the Mercedes particularly, but most of the others between last year and this year. And the Aston Martin quite a bit heavier and with less boost than it had last year. Replay of that move from Bastian Buust. He said, right, the inside line is covered. I'll go all the way around the outside then. Lots of grip, lots of confidence in the tyre. And he just nailed it then down the inside into turn 2. Terrific move that from the young Dane. Right, Kai Rowley and Preining looking solid in 1st and 2nd. It's a little bit closer further back though, isn't it? Ben Durr was catching Marco Wittmann at one point a couple of laps ago, but he's just fallen back into the clutches now of Lucas Auer.
So as you see in front, Wittmann and Ben Durr are dropping a bit. So I think Luke is trying to attack. If you can, let's stay close to them and try to take any chance if somebody goes off.
Yeah, Engel within striking distance, just behind Luki Auer. They go across the line. There, the team, though, and Emil Frey are ready to celebrate. They're taking a few deep breaths. They needn't worry. Matteo Cairoli is a country mile in front of everybody. He has absolutely destroyed the field today. That perfect lap in qualifying, perfect start to the race. Great pit stop, great driving from the Italian. He's had a couple of rough rounds, but he is on course for his third win of the season, and this is going to start to drag him back into the championship fight. It has been a classy demonstration of DTM driving this, fully in control of the GT3 machine, and he is about to pick up a very valuable 25 points to add to the 3 points that he secured for pole position this morning. Matteo Cairoli then, in his first season of the DTM, continuing the good work of his predecessor, Jack Aitken, who was a winner here in this car at the Nürburgring in the DTM, and a pole sitter as well. Emil Frey pushing hard the Swiss team to close the gap to try and win the team's championship, and if they can, the drivers' championship as well. Matteo Cairoli flashes the headlights and wins race 1 here at the Nürburgring.
Yes, mate. Hai fatto una gara grandissima. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Oh, and drama right at the end of the race. That's Christian Engelhardt off the road, and Thierry Vermeulen as well. Now, those two were running close together on track towards the tail end of the remaining runners. That's at the Vidal chicane, just a couple of corners from home, right at the end of the race. What's happened here? Well, it's good to see Thierry getting out of the car, because that's a high-speed entry into that corner. Christian Engelhardt is off, coming in for a couple of years away from DTM. We had a long-term knee injury. Oh, just went into the back of Thierry Vermeulen. Thierry didn't see that coming at all. They went into the braking zone, and that's a big off. Look, he just ducks from the right to the left, thinking maybe about an overtaking manoeuvre, but he just misjudges his braking and slams into the back of Thierry Vermeulen. And there's going to be a lot of damage to the car. Nicky Tim was just in front of them, luck, and they could have easily collected him, the championship frontrunner. Would have seen this blur of dust and colour in the background. He got away with it. Both drivers okay. And Christian Engelhardt, I think, apologising to Thierry Vermeulen. Oh, what a sad way to end the race for both drivers. Engelhardt had been doing a pretty good job up until that point, having never driven that Temerario before. And Vermeulen was looking to pick up some useful championship points for the team and for himself. But I suspect there'll be a late night for Emil Frey Racing and possibly Grasser to get those cars fixed. Driver of the day then has been voted for, and it is, rather understandably, Matteo Cairoli that gets the honour to add to his perfect day. The first driver then to win 3 races this season, Matteo Cairoli. He'll have 20 kilograms of success ballast on board tomorrow, but not for qualifying. If he can get himself somewhere near the front of the grid for day 2, pick up a top 5, top 6 finish, and he really is going to be in with a shout at this championship title, with a couple of events to go after this one at the Sachsenring and at Hockenheim. Matteo Cairoli then climbs aboard his steed to the roof of the Ferrari 296. A terrific victory for the Italian, a real statement win that, absolutely destroying the field and picking up those points to close the gap at the top of the championship table. Just 37 points now between Matteo Cairoli in 5th and Maro Engel, the championship leader, who had a solid drive there to finish in 6th place with all of that success ballast on board. Matteo Cairoli then, winner of race 1.
It was a very well needed win, because after the last 2 rounds, Nürburgring and then Oschersleben, we were a bit lost. We went into some frustration, so it was not the best also for the team, because I mean we are all pushing like crazy, and to see that we were not fighting for something important, it was quite painful. But in the end of the day, I need to say a big thanks to my guys, because I think they worked like never before the past week just to trying to find a solution. I mean, for sure, we put the car upside down in terms of balance, and it was paying off in the end. So yeah, I'm very, very happy to be finally again back to where we deserve.
Confirmation then of the results after 39 laps and nearly an hour of racing. Matteo Cairoli winning by almost 10 seconds from Thomas Preining and Marco Wittmann, who both get podiums again to follow on from their Oschersleben podiums. Ben Durr in 4th, Lucas Auer in 5th, championship leader Maro Engel rounding out the top 6. All smiles then down at Emil Frey Racing. 3, says Matteo Cairoli. Could he get a 4th victory tomorrow? Thomas Preining has had 3 back-to-back podiums now and has thrown himself right back into this championship fight.
generally the feeling is really good. We're not fully back, I would say. We are still having quite a gap to catch, almost 20 points. It's not super easy in DTM where everything is close. Also the level is high, Maro is consistent, so it's not like we will close the gap tomorrow most likely, but we're working on it. We try to stay consistent, we try to keep qualifying well, which makes life a lot easier in the race, and then we go from there.
Well, one former DTM champion, Thomas Preining, is closing the gap to the top of the table, and so too is another 2014 and 2016 DTM champion, Marco Wittmann, with his 54th career podium and a very useful 16 points.
Well, basically we had so far a very good weekend. We started well on Friday, and obviously this helps in terms of, you know, getting self-confidence, also in terms of setting up the car, maybe don't or not doing too many big changes on the car, just fine-tuning the car. And I would also say that today in quali the gaps have been probably the closest of the season, so generally I think the BOB guys did a good job to bring the whole field very close together. So basically it's nice, you know, to fight for solid points, to fight for a podium. The leader was quite off, so almost 15 seconds. There is still room to improve, but generally I think we can be happy, you know, to fight with our own weapons for P3 and hope that we can continue this till the end of the season.
Time for the podium celebrations then for round 11 of 16 DTM 2026. Marco Wittmann with his daughter here up onto the podium. A real proud moment for a man that's won here twice in DTM at the Nürburgring. Can he win tomorrow? He's on the podium with Thomas Preining and our race winner Matteo Cairoli. Emil Frey as the winning team also represented up there. And now time for the champagne here on Saturday at the Nürburgring. A hot race, a race of attrition. Tomorrow will probably be a very different day with a lot of drivers having fresh tyres, having not got to the full race distance. Only 3 sets of tyres, remember, and those that didn't race the full distance today are going to have a big advantage in the second half of race 2.
Race day 2 here at the Nürburgring. Similar weather conditions, even though the morning started a little bit colder. And we saw so much action yesterday. Now let's see what race 2 brings.
Maro Engel continues to lead the championship. He missed out on the title by 8 points last year, but finished 3rd. He enters the arena. He's done a good job once again in qualifying. He's going to be 5th on the grid, and he's free of the success ballast for winning the previous race. That now shifts to this man, Matteo Cairoli, who's qualified 3rd on the grid. Ben Durr, 2nd on the grid, looking to see if he can get a podium, having just missed out in 4th place yesterday. But pole position is Jules Goudon on his 2nd pole in the DTM. What an entrance from the Frenchman, wearing one of the kids' DTM cardboard helmets. His first pole position since the very first weekend of the 2025 season at Oschersleben. He finished 2nd in that race. Can Jules Goudon get his first DTM win? Here is the grid then. No Christian Engelhardt, so it's Nicola Bart starting 20th, Timo Glock in 19th. Bastian Boost and Thierry Vermeulen are on the next row. Row 8, Mirko Bortolotti back in 16th. Finn Wiebelhaus in 15th. Marco Mappelli and Luca Engsler, 2 Red Bull at Lamborghinis, are up next. And then 12th on the grid for Ricardo Feller, 11th for Tom Callender. Arja Maini into the top 10. Kelvin van der Linde is 9th. Then it's Thomas Preining, 8th on the grid for this one, with Lucas Auer 7th. The 2 Austrians are just behind Marco Wittmann in 6th. Championship leader Maro Engel in 5th. Nicky Tim in 4th place, having slipped out of the top 2 in the championship. Matteo Cairoli 3rd. Ben Durr 2nd. And Jules Goudon on pole position in the Winward Mercedes. Not quite so hot today, but it's still going to be a tough race for these drivers. Could be up to 60 degrees in the cockpits of these cars. And we've got 2 mandatory pit stops. The first pit stop window will last for 15 minutes, but will open after just 10 minutes of the race. Pit stop number 2 is just 6 minutes long and comes towards the end of the race. Round 12 of DTM 2026 then about to burst into action with Jules Goudon, the pole sitter, to the left of the picture, looking for his first DTM race victory after a tough season. He gets the race underway. Ben Durr trying to go with him in the McLaren. It's a good start for Matteo Cairoli, despite that 20 kilograms of success ballast on the car. Going 3 abreast here, clattering the curbs is the Ferrari. Good start for Luki Auerluck. He's 4th on the outside here into turn 2. Oh, contact between Auer and Engel, and Kelvin van der Linde Dürr is clipped as well and tipped into a spin in the BMW. Finn Wiebelhaus and Timo Glock have to take evasive action. But Auer is stranded, so too is van der Linde. Engel's carried on, but look, the tyre is completely delaminated. He's got damage to the front right wheel. He's going to try and drag it back to the pits, but the championship leader, Engel, and the driver third in the standings at the start of this race, Auer, are both in huge trouble here. And I think Auer is out. A big tag slapper then from Finn Wiebelhaus, who was delayed in all of that as well. But yeah, Luigi Auer is going nowhere fast, I'm afraid, and the safety car is going to be deployed. A contact between two of our key championship contenders. And of course, those two drivers, good friends, and they're teammates, championship-winning teammates in the GT World Challenge. Let's have a look what unfolded here then. It was a really good start, actually, for Luigi Auer, a bit like he had yesterday. This time he was on the other side of the circuit, and he looked like it was going to work for him. Nicky Tim, big move around the outside to try and get ahead of Marco Wittmann there in the Aston Martin. But this is where it all unfolds. Just see from that angle the contact between Engel in the Winward Mercedes, the Team Ravenel car, and Mercedes compatriot, but on the Landgraf side of the garage, Lucas Auer, who was the one that was tipped into a spin, and poor Kelvin van der Linde had absolutely nowhere to go in all of that. Another unlucky race for Kelvin van der Linde, who started this season with massive hopes of going for the championship. It's another retirement for him. And this one, as at the Nürburgring, absolutely nothing to do with him. Right, this is what it looked like on board with Thomas Preining. Keep an eye to those two Mercedes to the right of the picture. The dark blue and gold of Maro Engel. He's going toe-to-toe here with Marco Wittmann and just clips the back left corner of Lucas Auer. That was where the damage came to his wheel. That was what tipped Auer into a spin. Van der Linde collected them with absolutely nowhere to go. Oh, that's a big old third, wasn't it? Auer had no clue that that was about to come. Just didn't see it coming. So Maro Engel, confirmed retirement. That's his first retirement in a year. He's gone 18 races in the points.
Yeah, obviously disappointing, but it's my mistake. The car didn't turn as I expected it to, and obviously a tight situation with Marco on my left, Luigi on my right, but just got some understeer and then ended up tagging Luigi. So sorry to Luigi and to Kelvin, who got collected in that incident, and obviously yeah, it's disappointing for us. We left a lot of points on the table today.
So an incredibly rare retirement for Engel and Auer. Auer went the whole of 2025 and all of this year, scoring points in every single race. A big opportunity then for some of the other championship contenders to close the gap. Namely, Matteo Cairoli, who is in third, Marco Wittmann, who is in fourth, Nicky Tim in fifth, and Thomas Preining in sixth for the restart. But it's Gounon and Dürr that lead the charge. Tom Callender, that white, red and yellow Landgraf Mercedes, going toe-to-toe in the background with Ricardo Feller, one of the drivers that didn't finish the race yesterday after that collision with Nicky Tim, and one of the drivers who will have fresher tyres for this race, where they have to use all three sets of tyres. And for those that did the race yesterday at full distance, their tyres will have done over 70 kilometres. They'll only have the one set of newish tyres, which they used in qualifying this morning. Tom Callender will be really strong, and so too will the two Fords at the end of the race. Timo Glock, Mirko Bortolotti, amongst the others, that should come charging through the second half of the race, having effectively saved their tyres with bad results on day one. So Gounon with a perfect restart, leading away. Ben Dürr about 7/10 of a second behind him. Cairoli doing a solid job, carrying the ballast. 20 kilograms on board, more wear and tear for the tyres and the brakes. Right, good stop for Landgraf and Tom Callender. He is released away. 7.2 seconds. That's to be a bit quicker, ideally. Sub 7 seconds is very satisfactory. Sub 6.5 is very, very good as well. So not quite there. Finn Wiebelhaus and Mirko Bortolotti heading out on track. Christian Engelhardt's car too damaged to get back onto track today after that last lap collision with Thierry Vermeulen. So just the one Grasser Racing Lamborghini, probably the last thing they needed after only being able to field one car last time out at Oschersleben. It was a pretty tight run coming out of the pits, but Finn Wiebelhaus waited in turn. Mirko Bortolotti was already in the fast lane, and that was just about fine, I think. Right, in comes Ben Dürr, and in two comes Nicky Tim. Ben Dürr in a podium paying position at the moment, but this is the first of 2 pit stops. Lost a couple of seconds yesterday. That right rear again is slow, isn't it? The pair on the left side of the car already done, waiting for the pair on the right side of the car. And yeah, just under 9 seconds, so not a great stop, I'm afraid, for Durr Motorsport. He's just about going to stay ahead of Nicky Tim, but of course Nicky Tim was not battling for a podium with him, so there's a chance that he's going to drop out of second place once this all settles down. On board with Nicky Tim as they stick to the pit lane speed limit, cross the white line and now floor it. Will be a bit of a handful on these cold tyres. Oh, smoke coming from the car. It's a lock-up. I think it's a problem with the wheel. The wheel's not got on properly during the pits.
4 tires loose, 4 tires loose. So use tires.
The wheel loose. They didn't get the wheel nut on properly, and Ben Durr straight on as soon as he rejoins the circuit, turns the wheel, nothing happens, and that is a potential podium position gone. Real heartache for Ben Durr. He's really impressed this last 12 months, particularly this year with his win, his podium at Zandvoort, which he got before that victory at the Lausitzring, but he could have had more results, he could have had better results, and that's heartbreak for Ben Durr. Right, in come our challengers for the podium and for the win. Gunon in. Just behind him, Cairoli in, and Preining, who's been creeping up the order, coming in as well. All from the top 6. Gunon, of course, the race leader. That looked pretty good. As a pit stop, very good. Yeah, 6.7 seconds. But it's not going well for Matteo Cairoli. Look, he's still stranded there. They've got a problem on the left rear, and it still can't get it locked on. They've still got to deal with the front as well. This is an absolute disaster for Matteo Cairoli from 3rd place. And it's going to be over 25 seconds, that pit stop. That's going to absolutely destroy his chances of hanging onto a podium. Plus, he's got all this weight to carry with the success ballast for the rest of the race. Wittmann just about charging around the outside of Thomas Preining there to stay ahead of him. He was ahead before the pit stops, but Preining is a lot closer, isn't he? Preining had a good stop there. Schubert have actually been the best team on average this year in terms of their pit stops. They're not leading the pit stop challenge, where you get 3 points for the fastest pit stop in a race for the team, 2 for second, 1 for third. But on average, Marco Wittmann and Kelvin van der Linde for Schubert have had the quickest pit stops this year. And it's the same crew that deals with both sets of drivers, the same 6. They do an excellent job. Right, Gunon leading the race. His nearest challenger was Ben Durr, but Ben, sadly, is out, and through no fault of his own. It was this front right just didn't get the wheel nut tight. I think they realised straight away, but he'd been given the go message then, dropped off the jacks, and then turns the wheel, nothing happens, locks up, straight on, and he knew straight away what the problem was. It looks quite emotional in the car, doesn't he? Because that's a real big chance of a podium gone. He'd been driving superbly. And the other disaster in the pits was this one for Emil Frey. Here it was a spring issue. Such a shame. And been absolutely brilliant at their pit stops this year. Well, Ben Durr finds one of the marshal's chairs and contemplates life and tries to take a moment to overcome this huge disappointment. The safety car is out because of where his car has stopped just off the circuit, and that's going to bunch everybody up even more than they already were. Gunon leading, Wittmann second, Preining third after the first round of pit stops, with Tim up to 4th. Miney from 10th is up to 5th. We know he's got fresh tyres. He barely turned a lap on Saturday, either in qualifying or the race. He tied the car early. HRT doing a superb job with that new Ford Mustang, which has already had a pole, a win, and podiums this year at the hands of Finn Wiebelhaus and Arjun Miney. There is Arjun. He's going to be one to watch in this race. He's never had a DTM win. He's been close a couple of times. He's been on pole. He's been on podium. Can he get his first DTM victory? Certainly be one to watch, because ahead of him, Tim, Preining, Wittmann and Gunon all did the full race distance yesterday. Replay then of Thomas Preining when he was released from the pit stops. Now this is just being looked at because look, there's a yellow flag there into turn 1. Did Marco Wittmann pass before the green flag at the next marshal post? It's being looked at by the officials. It was tight, and Marco will argue, well look, Preining went massively off the road, what am I supposed to do? I think he'd just about be all right with that one, but it was oh so tight. Two champions going toe-to-toe here. Thomas Preining, the 2023 DTM champion. Marco Wittmann, winner of the title back in 2014 and 2016. This is how it looked on board with the German. Just trying to look out the window at the marshal posts. As he out of the yellow flag zone. Just about get away with that, I think. Marco Wittmann, look, coming in. His tyres up to temperature on cold tyres. Preining just skids out wide now. And is under investigation, so he didn't pass into turn 1. He passes around the outside at turn 2. Race control give us the message that Jules Goudon, the race leader, is going to get a penalty. He's got to go through that penalty box on the exit to turn 1 at 50 kilometres an hour. It will cost him 5 seconds, and it's for speeding in the pit lane. Oh, when is it going to go right for Jules Goudon? He just cannot buy a podium this year. He's had bad luck, not just in this championship. He could have, perhaps should have, won the Nürburgring 24-hour race, but for a car failure in the dying hours of that race. He's had bad luck at GT World Challenge, although he did win last time out at Magny-Cours. And now he's going to have to sacrifice the lead of the race with the restart. That's the penalty box he'll have to go through next time around. You can only pass the pit board once. You can't wait for ages to do that, so he'll have to go in next time into that pit box. And of course, they're all queued up behind him thanks to the safety car. He's going to lose tons of places. Look at this, great back going on further back. Arjun Mining desperately trying to cling on to his position. He's got Luca Engstler and Tom Callender to breathe down his neck as well. He's just about fended them off. Engstler having another great run. Right, into the penalty box goes Goudon.
It's a joke. Honestly, it's a joke. Yesterday, the guys, they jumped the start, no penalty, and now, honestly.
A very irate Jules Goudon. That's just the frustration of everything that's gone wrong from this year. Said they had a problem with the differential on the car yesterday, which is why it wasn't quite on the pace. They sorted that overnight. And he said after qualifying on pole, he was really happy for his team because they had to listen to him complaining in French and English. He said they're the ones that work the long hours. I just turn up late and leave early on a race weekend, but I'll be really gutted about that. It was only just over the speed limit from what I understand, 1 kilometre over, but it's enough to give him the penalty. We're into the second round of pit stops then. Arjun Mining, Ricardo Feller, Thierry Vermeulen and Nicolas Barton. Nicolas Barton, come to you racing, had the fastest pit stop of the year on day 1 here at the Nürburgring. A 5.8 second stop, the fastest in history, is 5.6 seconds, so it was an excellent job by them. It's Timo Glock in the background, looking at McLaren. He's having a good run out of the order. On course for a good top 10 finish from a lowly grid position. Right, Mining out into clear track. Feller coming up the order as well. He was tipped into a spin by Jules Goudon in race 1 and had a good comeback up the order. A little bit loose luck on that front right. It just wasn't quite aligned. It's on properly, but just cost them a fraction of a second, that. Bastian Boos and the team with a good stop though.
Maximum attack, mate. All in, all in, all in.
Right, Arjun Mining being given the positive message from his race engineer. Let's go all in, let's go for the win. He knows he's got better tyres than most of those around him. And it was a pretty good stop in the end from HRT. Right, Jules Goudon has been tumbling down the order. Of course, he had that run through the penalty box, but his tyres are also going to be a bit second-hand now after doing the full race distance on day 1. He's out behind Luca Engstler. He's going to rejoin alongside Arjun Mining, but on cold tyres. Replay of him getting away. Pretty angry Jules Goudon at the moment. It wasn't a perfect pit stop, but it's the least of his troubles in this race. Now, Tom Callender making really good progress in the remaining Landgraf Mercedes, just 18 years of age, only turned 18 at the beginning of the season. Youngest ever driver in the DTM, and he has got good fresh tyres and used tyres, or pretty unused tyres, that he can put onto the car now for this final stint. Good stop from Landgraf as well to get him out into the mix here. So how high up the order can he charge? Well, he's come out ahead of Luca Engstler, which is a good start. He's not going to get delayed by him. He's ahead of Mining as well. So I reckon 4th place potentially is on the cards here once this all settles down for the young German driver, the former GT Masters champion. He was the youngest ever champion in that category 2 years ago. Right, Wittmann is out ahead of Preining. And Nicky Tim is just going to miss out. I thought Nicky Tim was going to leapfrog Thomas Preining then for a second. Not quite. Mirko Bortolotti, look, is with this group of cars. So from what? Way back, 16th on the grid. Mirko Bortolotti, also with some good tyres on that Lamborghini. Could be on for a good result here. The team need it, don't they, after the after the troubles that they've had with that disqualification from the win for Mirko, the big crash, and the huge accident for Max Pell at the Nürburgring, the chassis written off. They get a new chassis, new car. Christian Engelhardt then crashes on day one here at the Nürburgring. It's been a tumultuous time for the Austrian team. The Italian, though, going well here. However, he has got to deal with a Mercedes that is on tyres that are up to temperature and tyres that are much fresher. And here comes Tom Callender down the inside. Look at Exler trying to follow him through all the way to turn 5, the hairpin. Callender's got through. Bortolotti is going to lose out, I think, to Exler as well. Those two switched teams this year. One went from Abt to Grasser, and Exler went the other way. He looks back at the inside, Mirko Bortolotti, but he can't do anything about it. And then Argentini behind, look. He's got good tyres on that car, and he's got the tyres up to temperature, so he needs to get on with this. And he has already got past Bortolotti. And now Tom Callender is all over Nicky Tim, who goes wide coming out of turn 11. They go up through the gears, up towards a top speed of just about 250 kilometres an hour over the crest and the downhill braking zone. They go all the way down to first gear, hard on the brakes, down to 70 kilometres an hour, side by side here. Tom Callender should have more grip. He's got the inside line. Is Luca Exler going to follow him through as well? Potentially. Callender gets ahead of Tim. Tim is on the inside here to fend off that Lamborghini. You got Argentini breathing down their neck as well. In that blue and gold Ford Mustang. It's Callender at the head of the group though, and he gets through, and Exler squeezes through as well the way through turn 3. He's got the position by turn 4. So Nicky Tim losing out. He's got Argentini now to deal with as well, and Maini just gets way better traction coming out of turn 4, goes over the crest into the braking zone down the inside. The Ford Mustang is just ahead at the moment. There's a left-hander coming up though. Nicky Tim, the Danish driver, is going to try and fend him off here, and they're still going to be side by side as they go through turn 6. This is on board with Mirko Bortolotti watching it all go on. Maini has squeezed through though all the way into turn 7. Nicky Tim closes the door, and having dealt with 3 cars and lost out to them, he's now got to deal with Mirko Bortolotti, the 2024 champion, on the climb uphill on the way into the Vidal chicane. His tyres now up to temperature, but that was a bruising lap or so for Nicky Tim. So having dealt with Nicky Tim, Tom Callender now up to 3rd, looking for his first DTM podium at the start of his 2nd season. But he wants to win the race. He's got the tyres to do it, that's for sure. If he wants to win, though, he's got to get past 2 DTM champions, starting with Thomas Preining, who is on the defensive here, on the run into turn 1. Callender nosing ahead, looking to go all the way around the outside. We've got a left-hander coming up. If he can stay there, he'll get down the inside of the Porsche. But Preining, look, just about gets enough traction to stay ahead and closes the door. Preining using all of his experience, all of his nous here to keep the youngster behind him. He knows that the Mercedes is quicker at this stage, and he also knows where to put that Porsche. This is all good news for Marco Wittmann, because the longer Thomas Preining can keep Tom Callender behind, the less time Tom will have to try and get past the race leader. Here we go again then. This is the best opportunity for Tom Callender. Only a couple of laps to go in the race now. The time has ticked down to 0. Again, he's sent around the outside by Thomas Preining into turn 1. He's got his nose in front. He goes deep into the corner. Left-hander coming up, right to the curbs. Is he going to make it this time? Down the inside, still side by side at turn 2. Preining trying to hang on here by his fingertips around the outside at turn 2. Into turn 3, the left-hander on board with Callender. He gets down the inside. Right-hander coming up, and he closes the door, and he's done it. It's taken a couple of laps, but a cheer down at Landgraf. He's in to 2nd place. Now he's got to get his head down and go for the win, because not that far up the road is Marco Wittmann. And Callender has the tyres to do this, but time is running out. Could have done, ideally, with getting past Preining a lap earlier, but it was a really, really good move from Tom Callender, using that outside line through turn 1. And look how quickly he is left behind Tom Preining. This is a replay of them going wheel to wheel. Oh, this is fantastic racing, isn't it? It's so close, but they give each other just enough room. Lots of respect here between the 2 drivers. Good, hard, but fair racing, and the crowd were on their feet with that move from young Tom Callender. The youngest ever winner of a DTM race, Liam Lawson, aged 19, back in 2021. Now, of course, a Formula 1 racer, Liam, the New Zealander, won in his opening weekend, his maiden weekend of DTM at Monza 5 years ago. Callender is almost out of time, though. Just one more corner to go for Marco Wittmann. As long as he doesn't go wide here, he should be fine. And on course for his first victory since Zandvoort 2024. Huge victory for Marco Wittmann in his quest for a third championship title. What a weekend he has had with that podium yesterday as well. He becomes the 7th different winner of the season. A brilliant drive, though, by young Tom Callender, youngest ever podium finisher in DTM, to take second place. Thomas Preining completes the top 3, with Arjun Maini 4th, Mirko Bortolotti equalling his best of the season in 5th, and then Luca Engsler, Nikitin, Timo Glock, Marco Mappelli and Bastian Booth. A fantastic job done then by this man, the second most experienced driver in DTM history. Only Bernd Schneider, the 5-time champion, has had more race starts than this man in this championship. He had to fend off one of the new generational talents, didn't he, Tom Callender, who is mentored by the great Bernd Schneider. What a fantastic job he did, from 11th to 2nd, and a day I'll never forget, youngest ever driver to step onto a podium in the DTM.
I have to say I really drove my heart out today, especially after the bad luck we had throughout the season with 60 NFs or something. Yeah, it's just super, super nice to stand here on the podium with the big guys.
Podium presentation time then for round 12 of the DTM. And it's Marco Wittmann that will celebrate the loudest on the top step of the podium. His 20th career victory, coming just over 2 years since his 19th. Tom Callender and Thomas Preining join him on the podium, and then time for the champagne celebrations after what has been an absolutely mega race here at the Nürburgring.
What a phenomenal race for you. I mean, it's been over 2 years. Last time you won was in Zandvoort 2 years ago. So you were giving it your all. I know the pressure was on. And how do you feel right now that you did it?
Yeah, definitely happy. I mean, it was not an easy race with all the chaos at the beginning, at the start, in the opening lap. But, you know, we kept calm. I think we came out without any scratches on the car. But yeah, definitely happy. I mean, the team, they did an amazing job all weekend long, you know, prepared the car so well, did great pit stops. And to be twice on the podium and obviously today on the top step is definitely a great weekend.
Congratulations again, and obviously back in the battle for the championship, or still on. And yeah, we're looking forward to the Sachsenring in 4 weeks. It's going to be super tight, only 4 more races to go, so you don't want to miss it. See you then and hear the highlights. Enjoy. Bye-bye.